Hello there and welcome back to another Blender tutorials for you. Today what we're going to be making is this lightsaber. Doesn't that look exciting? Alright, let's hop into it. So first what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking the image. You can download it off of my Patreon. The link is in description. We're just going to plop it in our scene here. And to get it in the center, it's going to hit Alt and G and that'll move it to the center. But as you can see now, it's a little bit awkward. It's a little bit weird. So I'm going to hit the N key. I'm going to go to my rotation here and I'm just going to select them all, hit 0 and have it rotated right along the 0. I'm going to hit R to rotate X and 90 and then that'll bring it straight up. What we're going to do here is delete this cube and we're going to start our modeling. We're going to start from down from the bottom, just kind of work our way up to the top here. Alright, so let's get started. So Shift A, mesh, and we're going to make a circle. With this circle, we're just going to scale it down right about there. And you're going to grab it along the Z and bring it down. Let's also move this along the X, move it over to the side a little bit. So now we're going to go in little increments here. So I'm going to tab into edit mode and we're going to hit E to extrude along the Z. And then we're going to hit E, S, and bring it out just a little bit. Probably right about there. E, Z, bring it in. And then we're going to do E, Z, up. We're going to hit S to scale that in a little bit. I'm going to hit EZ to the top. And we're just going to hit F to face that off. And we're going to face off the bottom too, just so we don't have anything to worry about. And after looking at this, I think what we're going to do is we're just going to make this go to right about here. And then we'll just add a bunch of circles and just use the array modifier and just bring them down. Let's do that. So we're actually just going to ES, we're going to scale it in, and we're just going to hit EZ and bring it up to the top, right about there. And now in object mode with nothing selected, I'm going to go Shift A, we're going to create another mesh, and we're going to create another circle. So this circle, just scale it down, grab it along the X, and just kind of move it over towards the middle here. I'm going to grab it along the Z and bring it right to the top. Even a little bit underneath the top will be fine. Now I'm going to tab into edit mode, and I'm going to extrude this on the Z just a little bit. And then we're going to extrude and scale inwards just a little bit. And now we can EZ to the top. We can scale this in a bit. We can ES, bring that really far in. EZ to the top. On this bottom one, we're just going to hit F to face these off. And now we're going to hit Alt click and then Alt Shift click. And we're going to Control B, bring them in towards each other. And we're just going to scale to get those loop cuts. Perfect. Now we have that little ring around the rosy there. And then for our last piece here, just Shift A, circle. And we're going to scale this circle in as well. Bring this up on the Z, grab it on the X, and just move it over. We're just going to scale this in, probably to about there, a little bit further out. There you go. Grab it on the X, just kind of move it over. Now tabbing into edit mode, I'm going to hit E, Z, come up to this area. I'm going to hit E, S to scale outwards, and then EZ to bring up, and then EZ to bring up again, but we're going to scale it out, and EZ up, and we're going to face that off. Now we're going to do the same thing as we did before. We're going to Alt Shift click these lines. I'm going to go Control B, and we're going to bring them, and there we have it, around the top. I think that looks pretty good so far. What do you guys think? Not bad for our first model. Alright, we're going to go ahead and add this part some material. So we're going to go to our material. We're going to create new, and this will be our more like a stainless steel, so metallic all the way up, roughness down to about a 0.3. And now if we look at in material view, looks really choppy. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click shade smooth. Let's see if our modifier helps. Subdivision surface. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, so what we're going to do here is we're going to add a modifier and we're going to put in a subdivision surface, and then we're going to right click and shade smooth. So now when we look at it, it has very little reflection. This one was more of a stainless steel, so actually let's change that up a little bit. So in the materials, I'm just going to make this a little bit more white. Not like crazy bright, a little bit more white. I think right about there looks good. Let's turn this to about a 0.4, and I think that looks much better. So I'm just going to go ahead and hide that, and I'm going to work on this next part, and I'm just going to go into wireframe mode here. And now this is more so of like a copper with an aluminum on the bottom. I'm going to tab into edit mode. I'm going to hit 3, and I'm just going to select these and these. And with all those selected, I'm just going to hit a new material, and we're going to make this copper. So metallic is going to go up. My roughness is going to go down probably about 0.3. And let's see how this material looks. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to add a modifier, go to modifiers and search up the subdivision. And then we're just going to right click shade smooth. And with that selected, I'm going to grab these outer loops on the bottom here. So I'm going to go to wireframe, I'm going to hit C, and I'm just going to go around it. And that'll allow me to select everything on the bottom. And with those selected, I'm going to go into my materials here. We're just going to add the other material that we've already made. I'm going to hit assign. So this material, let's actually rename it silver, and this one can be copper. And then we're going to go back to material preview and see how that looks. So right here, as you can see, is going up a little bit. There's an easy fix to that. So you go Control R to add a loop cut and bring it all the way down. And now you can do the same thing to the bottom. R, no, you can't. Just that one though, whatever. No one's going to see it. And with that part done, we can hide that. Now moving down, we have our big shaft here, and that color is black. So with this selected, we're going to add a new material, and this will be black. And we're just going to bring it to a black with full roughness. No metallic. I'm going to check it out. Perfect. Moving on. And since it is part of the other thing here, what we're going to do here is we're going to hit 3, and we're just going to select all these faces, and we're going to select all these, all those, and all those. So then that way we have everything selected. We're just going to add that silver material and hit assign. Now when you go to material preview, it should look a lot better. So I'm going to add the modifier, so subdivision surface, and we're also going to shade smooth. So as you may see, something like this might have happened up top. That happens, that's an easy fix. You tab into edit mode, Control R, and just scale it up to the top, and that will tighten that up. Now, if we look down here, it doesn't look crazy tight like it should. So I'm just going to Control R and bring that up just like so. Control R to make another loop cut and bring that down, and that should look a lot cleaner. Oh, and the bottom here. Control R and bring that down, and that should look a lot cleaner there. Perfect. Now we're going to add these little cube things on the bottom over here. These right here, I'm just going to add those in. So with this, we are actually going to be in object mode. We're going to hit Shift A, mesh cube. I'm going to grab this along the Z and bring it down, and we're just going to scale this in. We're going to make sure that this is around the same size of our main cube here on the front, and it is. We're just going to grab this on the Y, and I'm actually going to scale this on the Y too, just to add a little bit more thinner, because what we're going to be doing, we're going to be grabbing this back face, and all we're doing is going to be scaling it out. So with that mesh selected, I just hovered over it and hit L. I'm going to grab this along the Y, and we're just going to put it right there. Now in top view, let's rotate it. Maybe we can even bring it in a little bit more. So while in top view, we're just going to hit Shift S, and we're going to hit cursor to the selected. So it's in the center. And then we're going to select our main face here. We're going to hit Alt E. In edit mode, I'm going to hit Alt E and S, and that'll scale it around where we are. But in our photo here, you can only see we have like 5 of them. So let's change our steps 5. Now in top view, you can see that they are perfectly rounded out around where your cursor was. So keep that in mind. It's where your cursor is. That's why I moved it in the middle of this other object. So when I hit Shift S, and I went to cursor to selected, and then that's where I moved the cursor. And then I went back over here, and it was Control E, and you hit S, and then that will divide how many you need there. So I'm not really sure what this part is here, but I don't really know what that is. What looks like a cylinder with a cube. Everything's a cube, right? Okay, anyways, let's just go ahead and make these rings here. So what we're going to do is make sure nothing is selected, that we're in object mode. We're going to go Shift A, mesh, and circle. With this circle, we're going to leave it as is, and we're just going to tab into edit mode. Extrude. So sometimes this might happen is that you don't see any of the vertices here. So what happened here is that you're selected on your face mode, right? So you want to go to your vertices to see your vertices. And now you can hit E to extrude on the Z and bring it up just a little bit. Perfect. What we're going to do is move this up here. Oops, I'm going to select it all and move it all up, scale it down, and we're just going to see what we're looking at here. So I'm going to grab this on the X, move it over, scale it in a little bit more. We're just going to grab these top lines here. So you hold Alt and click, and you just going to grab it on the Z and bring it up. Click or Alt left click on that and Alt Shift left click on that. And we're just going to E to extrude, S to scale, and just bring it in ever so slightly. And now on the outer rims here, we're just going to Alt click the outer rim and Alt Shift click bottom one. I'm going to go Control B, and we're going to bevel this just until they touch. Now we are going to apply this a material. So we're going to go down to our materials, and we're just going to give it the silver material. So now if we look at our material preview, we can see that it is an actual ring now. With everything selected, I'm just going to go into the modifiers tab, and we are going to add the subdivision surface modifier. I'm going to tab out and hit right click to hit shade smooth. We're going to go right ahead and make another modifier. This modifier is going to be the array modifier. So an array modifier will always be on the factor of x. So we're just going to switch that to a 0. And on the z, we're going to hit 1 because we want it to be going upwards. So I'm going to look into wireframe here just to see what I'm doing. And how many do we have here? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're going to put our count up to 9. And now let's space it apart. So I'm just holding shift while moving my mouse wheel, or left clicking on the Z and just moving it. And there we can have it in a pretty good basic spot. So I'm going to go to my material preview and see how this looks. And that actually doesn't look too bad. On our cubes on the bottom over here, we are going to give it a material silver. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. So now we can go ahead and fill out the rest of his lightsaber here. So with nothing selected, we're just going to go Shift A, Mesh, Cylinder. I'm just going to scale this down to size, grab it along the Z, bring it right up, and scale it down a bit more. And we're going to scale this along the Z, probably about there. And then this top part, we're just going to round off the top. So extrude on the Z, scale it in a little bit, extrude Z, upscale, extrude Z, extrude Z, upscale, and extrude, and finish it off. We're actually going to bring this down a bit, right about to there. You can make it as long as you want, but I think this will do for now. So to make this thing glow, we can make it glow any color we want, but I'm going to make it green like it shows in our picture. I'm just going to go to materials, and we're going to select the principal BSDF, and we're going to choose emission. You can set your color to whatever you want, but I'm going to go with that nice green. I'm going to increase the strength, and let's see how it looks. So for now, since we are done with this picture in the back, we're just going to hide it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to also add a plane in the back. So we're going to rotate on the X 90 degrees. I'm going to grab it on the Y to move it back a bit. I'm just going to scale it up. I'm actually going to bring this forward. Just want to see it right around there. The material that we're going to be giving this is just going to be black, so that then we can have a better understanding of how our lightsaber is going to work. I'm also going to turn off the light. I'm actually just going to delete the light. Let's see how this looks in rendered view. And there we have an emission lightsaber. And now what we can do, as we always do, we can take everything that is here, not taking the empty or the plane. I'm just going to shift click on the cylinder. We're just going to Control J so that everything is put into one of the items, and we're just going to call this lightsaber. What I don't need in my collection is a camera, the plane, or the empty. So all I would have in it is just my collection is my lightsaber, so that we can append it into future projects. Now the material of this is you can change to whatever you want, and no matter what color you choose, it'll go towards that color. But I like my green. I'm going to Shift D this to duplicate, and we're going to move it along the X. I'm just going to put it at an angle, and same with the other one, just put it at an angle. And then grab on the X and move it forward. That way now we have two lightsabers that are crisscrossing each other. We can add a new material, which will be the same material 001. So when we tab into edit mode, we can just select these faces right here. Oh, we can just select these faces right here. We can add a new material and hit new. And again, we're going to change this to emission. You can make the color whatever you choose it to be. I'm going to go with red, and I'm going to hit assign. And then I'm going to grab these. Now I'm going to grab the lightsaber and move it on the X and move it back. That way they're not going to be touching each other. Now you can see what your picture looks like. I'm going to add in a light as an area. And I'm going to scale that up, grab it along the Y, and we're going to rotate 180. And I'm going to move this right underneath so that it can see how it'll look. Power, I'm going to probably bring it up to about 500, just so now we can get more of a view of our actual handles and stuff. So let's go ahead and take a picture. F12. And there you have it. There you have both of your lightsabers. Well, thank you for watching, and I really hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you on the next one. Have a great day.